I'm Monty Don.
That's not fair.
You're Alan Titchmarsh.
Lily Allen Titchmarsh. Can you not?
I don't know. I don't.
Can you not laugh at me, please?
Thank you. 10 points to Gryffindor.
10 points for Gryffindor. This episode of Miss Me contains some very strong language and some adult themes.
And a gardening pun or two. Welcome to Listen, Bitch. We had a week off. I know people were craving this question and answer series that has become such an important part of so many lives. We're proud to be back in our stations to serve the country right. I did feel like I'd left my, post as Minister of Defence.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
It's like we're in service, we're answering these questions every week, and suddenly we just weren't for a week. I was like, my God, how are people going to get through the day? I think everyone's been fine. Today's theme is, of course, gardening. So we were going to do hair for our Listen Bitch theme, but then for reasons out of both Lily and I's control, we took a week off and decided to change it to gardening. So that's what happens in life. Things change.
Things change.
The gardening of life. Yeah. I'm at Lily's house. Lily's at Lily's house. One's in London, one's in New York. And I've seen both gardens. I've seen the balcony here and the garden in New York. Not very grassy, the one in New York. Quite pebbly.
No, the front garden is more gardened than the back garden.
I would actually say that the front garden is very topiary based.
Yes.
Okay. And here it seems that you've got the outdoor space has really come along since I was last here, darling.
Yeah, what do you think of the furniture? Do you like it?
Really good. So many people have bad garden furniture. So many people. And there is so much bad garden. You know what? This is exactly the kind of stuff I cannot wait to dissect. Let's have our first question for this week's Listen Bitch. I'm Monty Don.
That's not fair.
You're Alan Titchmarsh.
Lily Allen Titchmarsh.
No, that's not fair.
Hello, Lily and Miquita. This team is interesting because I have never, ever, ever gardened in my entire life. And I was wondering if you had any tips for people like me who would like to be more connected to nature, but grew up in a city and was never introduced to gardening. What would you suggest I do as a first step? Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Find a good garden centre and chase your dreams, because a really good garden does take a bit of planning and layout. You can have a bit of a haphazard start, which I've done before. But when you really plan it and you actually think about the colours of things that are going to come up and at what time, it's like you feel like you're painting with the universe. And I have a great garden centre. I've mentioned them before. Sunshine Garden Centre in Alexandra Palace, and they're just amazing, and there
are other garden centres I just would like to add.
Yeah, and I intend to see them all this year, actually. I'm going to do a little garden centre tour.
Well, hey, seeing as you're at my house, why don't you think about my garden on the balcony and see if you can build that?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I would love to add some plants. Would that be all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Please, be my guest, literally.
You be my guest. It's a lavender plant that I've seen and some herbs.
Yeah, I got those. Those were a Mother's Day present from my children. The plan is to, make that whole section a sort of, a garden. So, please, have fun.
Hoe away.
I can then PayPal you some money if you'd like to give you a budget.
I would love this. This is a great brief. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for your garden in the sky to be representing for you?
Well, just bear in mind that it doesn't get a massive amount of light where it is. So it has to be shade friendly plants.
Okay. I'm not a garden expert, I must say. I'm not a garden expert. Just watch a lot of gardening shows, and I've got a lot of great gardeners in my family. So leave me with that, and who knows what you'll walk back to. It's actually very like Singapore, where I just was with mum for 48 hours. That was intense. And what they do is, because they build up, the island's quite small. That's why everything is very modern and built up. Not the only reason. they have a lot of kind of living
walls.
Fertile, well, not just walls, they have like actual gardens in the sky, and like, 60% of the buildings you go to the top of. We went to this restaurant, Lil, and like it's like really beautiful Michelin-styled restaurant, and on the left is just this huge garden that envelops the whole restaurant. It's on like the 60th floor, and they're growing all their produce up there in the sky. They even have like benches and little rose gardens, and you're like up in the sky. So that's what I might bring a little bit of that energy to your garden in the sky.
Yeah, please do. Bring the Singapore to West London. Why don't you?
I can do that. All right, let's have another question. Let's see where it takes us on this gardening journey. Let's go down the yellow brick road. That's not really gardening.
That's all.
Hi, Lily and Miquita. This is Jess calling from very sunny Farnham in Surrey. My question for you regarding gardening, well, more of a story. Me and my husband, we used to be really cool. I run a pub. We used to go out raving, partying all the time. And now I think we have totally realised that we have hit middle age. We get super excited on a Friday night when Monty Don appears on the TV on Gardening World, and we spend our time talking about what bulbs to plant and what plants are flowering in the garden. So I was wondering if you guys ever had that realisation, be it with gardening or not, at what point you officially hit middle age and middle-aged hobbies. Thanks, guys. Love the podcast.
Well, I don't know whether it's middle-aged per se, but I do think that there is a reason that people when they're getting older want to garden more, because it so evokes life and existence and mirrors it so unbelievably. And I think you learn that more as you get older and you have sort of less time left. Oof.
Also, because time goes quicker. Like, imagine like planting things if you're like 8 years old, like 6 months feels like 10 years. Whereas when you're older, 6 months feels like, a few weekends ago.
Yeah. But isn't that an interesting thing to do as an older person, to be 80 and still plant bulbs for the future? I think that's why gardening can keep an older mind really healthy, because you're always thinking about the future. You're not thinking, well, I won't be here to see them. You're like, yes, I will. I still trust and believe in my future, and I still have a future. I remember we went to plant bulbs in like the top deck bit of Fox, and I was fascinated that these things would turn into these flowers. And I just did it at my flat, and I have to say I've had the best spring ever watching those daffodils come up. I do feel a bit like I'm getting to the age that Bill Nye said when he was about 50, he started thinking, oh God, how many springs will I see? How many more springs will I see? And this spring I have felt really like, God, I'm so lucky to see another spring. I don't know why I feel so morbid, but we are so lucky with seasons and watching things grow and blossom and bloom. Like the blossom is out in London right now, Lil. You just left. There's something about this sea that just feel like it's been touched by angels when the blossom comes out.
Yeah, I hear you. It's nice. The tree next door next door to our house out here is full of cherry blossom. It's very, very beautiful.
Of course. Why do I think that only London's having spring? How's New York spring? Does it have as much blossom?
It's very springy. Yeah, there's cherry blossom everywhere. It's beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous. All right, why don't you ask the next question, babe?
Okay, can I have another question, please?
Hey, ladies. We love you girls so much. Love the podcast. We listen to it religiously every week without fail. We were so sad to miss your live shows, but we'll definitely be at the next ones. So I'm Rosie. I'm 22 from Kent. And I'm Ruby, 20 from Walthamstow. Besties. Yeah. So my question for you today is, if your personality was a plant, what would it be and why?
And then my question is, if aliens visited Earth and we could show them one plant to represent humanity, what would you choose and why?
Love you so much. Bye.
Thanks. We love a double question. Love a doubler. Thanks, Ruby. Thanks, Rosie. If you were a plant. Well, of course, this ties into our moon seed gardening that we've talked about before in the podcast that we do with Phoebe, which is about visualizing yourself as either a flower or a tree or a fruit or a vegetable that you want the properties of which you want to embody on the new moon for your next cycle of life.
Okay.
And we did one that was quite good for you, didn't we?
What did we come up with?
I can't remember now.
I think I'll be a tomato because I'm a little bit sweet and a little bit seedy.
Fine. You were a radish before. I like that you're staying in this sort of vegetable area. That's good.
Yeah. If I had to come up with a plant that describes humanity, it would be a Venus flytrap.
Of course. I thought you'd say a daisy, but no. And go on and explain that. And why would humanity be a Venus flytrap, darling?
Because it just like lures you in and then just goes kills you.
Welcome to Earth.
Come here, my pretties. Look at me. I'm all interesting and nice. Hello.
I'd like to be Cosmos. I love Cosmos. It's like pretty, delicate, but they grow like fuckers and they grow more in the sun. So, yeah. A little garden we'll have. What do you want to be again? Because I'll plant it for you here. Oh, some tomatoes.
A tomato, little bit sweet, little bit seedy.
We can plant some tomatoes.
And what's your plant that describes humanity?
Probably it would be, God, why am I a hippie and you're like a realist? Something that would mirror the Fibonacci sequence, which is that spiral that is within everything, because that's how I see humanity, and war and pain and love and beauty. It's all the same shit over and over again.
Okay, so what plant is that? You have to ask Monty Don.
Let me ask Monty. Or, Charlie. Who was the lady who gardened without a bra?
Charlie Dimmock.
She was like an icon of our times. The famous gardeners in this country get so famous and loved. Plant with Fibonacci sequence. Sorry, this is important. I've got to answer Ruby. A pine cone.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah. Double set of spirals. Yeah. I'd say a pine cone, because everything's just going round in circles over and over again.
Oh, I think it's time for a break.
Yeah. Go on, give me one gardening pun.
You're such a grasshole.
No. Don't hurt yourself.
Did you know that you can find over 100 episodes of Miss Me on BBC Sounds?
You can download the app now and then listen to every single episode that we've ever done, including all of our meatiest drops. Today was great. I mean, today we talked about shoplifting, whether the internet is responsible for the downfall of everything in the world, and the buyout of W.H. Smith.
Woohoo!
If you're enjoying this episode of Miss Me, you can find loads more podcasts you might like on BBC Sounds, like Diddy on Trial, the BBC podcast where I follow every twist and turn in the run-up to Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial in May. I'm Anushka Matanda-Doughty, and each week on Diddy on Trial, I go behind the headlines, from the deepest conspiracies to the latest allegations. Listen now on BBC Sounds.
Let's have another question for this week's Listen Bitch. The theme is gardening. I hope we're doing as good a job as Radio 4's Gardening World. Gardener's World. Gardener's World?
I doubt it.
Question, that's it. Gardener's Question Time. Welcome back to Gardener's Question Time. Let's have another question, please, from our lovely, dedicated audience.
Hello, Miquita and Lily. My name is Jean. I'm from Kintyre in Scotland, and I study in Glasgow now. My question about gardening is maybe more about gardens. So I've lived in Glasgow in student flats for the past few years. And last year I was very lucky to have a lovely garden outside my basement tenement. It was lovely because my next door neighbour kept it so beautiful. I should also say the woman across from me was called Jean. So I was younger Jean, she was older Jean. Older Jean kept this garden so beautiful. But I used to feel so guilty when I used it because it felt like her garden. So I guess my question is, have you ever had to share a garden with someone? And how did you get around garden politics? An example of some issues, sharing a washing line. Sometimes I'd put washing out, but older Jean would take the washing back in again at night when I'd maybe forgotten it, and I'd feel really bad. Thanks, guys.
What a lovely way to connect with older Jean, through the garden. Naima shares her garden with an older lady upstairs, and they've shared it for 20 years. And Naima does a lot for her. She helps her grow her stuff that she wants in the front garden, lots of flowers. And then Naima does loads of cool, amazing stuff in her beautiful garden at the back. So actually, it's a really nice way of being connected to your community, I think. Also in West London, where we grew up, and I only know this because I watched Monty Don's Great British Gardens. Lily, it's so good because he's gone around the world many, many times. And I've been like waiting for him to do Britain, and he finally did it. Or the UK. He goes to Ladbroke Square Gardens on one of them and talks about the unique nature of these big gardens that are shared in the back of these residential squares in and around Notting Hill and Ladbroke Grove. And we grew up with that. Alex Mack had a key to one. Gemma Barron's house went on to one. So we were really lucky to have that kind of communal gardening that I thought everyone had in London. You may recognise it from the Notting Hill film. When she's pregnant at the end on the bench, that's one of the Ladbroke Grove communal gardens. So I remember sharing gardens, but when you're poor, you don't have a garden, then you don't really experience that, which was my childhood. Did you have a garden?
I did. I had a garden.
Yeah, that lovely one, St. Peter's Street.
Yes. I had a garden at St. Peter's Street. My mum was quite a sort of avid gardener. She's got the green fingers. I just don't. I sort of feel like quite overwhelmed by it. I feel like it's like learning a language or something. I just get a bit scared by it all. I'd really like to be into it because I really love the results. I love it being in a beautiful garden, but I just, for some reason, don't have the sort of confidence to do it myself.
It does take confidence. I was really nervous and I kept waiting around for Tyson or Namer to come around so that I could plant these plants I'd got. And then I was like, get the gloves on, empty the pot out and put some soil in and plant this plant. You know what you're doing. And it feels so great when you've done it yourself. Also, you weren't always scared. According to your Mary Claire cover story in 2008 that I found here today, you say, I'm an avid gardener. I love vegetables. 2008. So I don't know, would you have just got St. Queen's Park?
No, that was when I was moving to Overtown, and I did actually garden then, but it wasn't like flowers and stuff. It was more fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, you say you should start. You're telling the interviewer you should start growing rhubarb. It's really exciting. Rhubarb under big pots.
Forced rhubarb.
Oh, is that what it's called? See, you know more than you think.
Yeah, but it's more the. I mean, I think that fruit and veg is like relatively easy. It's more the more decorative, like aesthetic stuff that's scary and intimidating.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up really nice for you up here so that you can return to it, and all you've got to do is upkeep.
Okay.
And that's really easy and really satisfying, and you can make it part of your routine.
Okay, deal.
What's my budget?
I'm not going to tell people on here. I'll just text you.
Okay.
£1 million.
Okay. All right, let's have another question, please. Let's have another question for Charlie Dimmock. And we need one more famous gardener. Capability Brown.
Capability Brown.
Hi, Lily and Miquita. It's Fran here from Leeds. I spent all day yesterday, it was Mother's Day yesterday, in the sunshine, in the garden with my family, my partner Nick and my daughter Fern. We planted a tree and we moved lots of perennials because we are planting up a new hedge this year. And we did lots of other bits and bobs around the garden. It was lush. And I have ADHD, like I know Lily does, and I think Miquita might be undiagnosed, but, Love you guys. You're amazing. My question was, lots of people say that our garden here in Leeds is their favourite garden and they love chilling in it and it's the best party garden. And that is because, obviously, we've spent a lot of time and energy making it so. But I was wondering from you two, which of your friends or maybe celebrity acquaintances has had the best garden that you visited? Who's your favourite garden? Who's got your, you know what I mean?
They want a famous person, Lil. What's Elton's garden like? Go on.
I don't know what Elton's garden's like, but I actually can't really think of who's got There's one person, do you know who Flora Starkey is?
Yeah, I'm cool too.
Ringo's daughter-in-law. Ringo Starr has a beautiful house in Dorset. And I always look at, she's a florist, and I always look at her Instagram and pictures of her garden. And whenever I'm like, property porning on the interweb, looking at country places in England, which I have done ever since I lost my house there, I always just think, no, it's not as nice as Flora Starkey's. I don't want it. That's all I want.
What's so good about it? What's her vibe? Because I quite liked Stella McCartney's garden in her country house.
It's sort of like, it's the valleyness of it. I don't like flat when it comes to like, this, we are such out of touch bumholes. Comes to looking at property and land. It's not really about acreage for me. It's about the topology, you know? It's got to be...
No, this is the shit I want to hear, Lil, because I like this. Yeah. I don't know this stuff.
I don't like flat. I don't like flat. I want to be like enveloped in land. I want there to be high bits, low bits. And
but that makes a lot of sense, because if you're thinking about where, because I love the idea of having a country house in the good English countryside one day. And when I'm thinking about why, I don't really think about topology versus acreage. But if you don't like flat, you're not going to Suffolk. If you like valleys, you're going to probably be in the Cotswolds. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, I like I like valleys. I like, hills. I like being in a valley. I like sort of being surrounded by greenery, but like at a height. I don't know. It's something about being sort of like hugged by the land. Yeah.
Yes, well, it's the Welsh in you, grow in the valleys.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah. What are you laughing at? Can you not?
I don't know.
Can you not laugh at me, please?
No, because I worked with a Welsh person and it is the hardest accent to do, and you just do it like it's in your blood, and it is. That's why.
Because it literally is. That's why. Fair dues.
Okay. Maybe I'll bring a bit of Welsh into the garden that I build for you. We'll get some sort of like Welsh lily of the valley.
Okay, you do that. Let's have another question in the meantime.
It's going to be quite a confused garden.
Hello, my name's Taryn, and I am messaging from Wythenshawe, which is council estate in Manchester, which is where I'm from. I seen that the topic for this week was gardening, and I couldn't help but send a voice note. I'm an avid listener. Love it. Just wanted to message and talk about my new allotment. So I've just got an allotment in a council estate, and as you can imagine, it is full of SHIT. So I've been clearing it out, and I found an old school porn DVD. And I just wondered, it just made me think, I wonder what else I could dig up, what else I could find, basically, because apparently it's been derelict for years and years. And I just wondered if, while you've been doing your gardening, if you've ever dug up or found anything interesting, or if you've moved to a new place and got in the garden and found something interesting in the garden. Thank you for the pod. As I say, big fan. You're really inspiring to someone that's 33 and still trying to reach new goals and stuff. So thank you for that.
Oh my God. Thanks. I have a few things to say. One, I want to say about allotments, which is fuck, they're hard to get on the list for. Because I was trying to get me and Ticey on the list in Tottenham when she was pregnant, and it's like years. It's like 8 years or something. It's like worse than a Birkin.
Wow.
It's like unbelievable.
It's like the MCC. Jesus.
What's the MCC?
The Marylebone Cricket Club. That's the Lord's.
Was that how hard it is to get in there?
I think it might even be 12 years. It's a long time.
Well, this is what I mean. I'm happy that this lady's got her hands on an allotment, and God, what I would love, I love the idea of like scraping all the shit out and turning it into something really beautiful. In Monty Don's British Gardens, just another plug for that show, he really does focus a lot, and on Gardener's World every Friday at 7:30. Our listeners from earlier are also avidly waiting for Gardener's World at that time on Friday night. Me too. They really show like what people do in this country with really not much space to make something beautiful that feels like fertile and vibrant and, fecund and alive. And
sorry, what was that last word you just said? Fecund.
Fecund.
What the fuck does that mean?
It means fertile.
Fecund.
Yeah.
As in like second, but with a f.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's fecund, but no, it's fecund.
No,
fecund.
I've never heard this word. What is it?
Fertile.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that, bitch? FECKONED.
No, like FECUND. Fecund. I love that word.
FECUND.
UND. It better mean what I think it means, because I have been using that.
Producing or capable of producing an abundance of offspring or new growth, fertile. Well done.
Thank you. 10 points to Gryffindor.
10 points for Gryffindor.
That is not my joke. Phoebe was saying that all weekend. It was making me laugh so much. 10 points to Hufflepuff, Garfield. Anyway, so yes, I think it's really beautiful that you that people in this country use whatever space they've got, and even also like around so many of the estates in Hackney, they have these big poppy gardens and daffodil gardens. Why shouldn't there be beauty everywhere? So well done, certain councils that stick on that. The other thing I would say is I've never discovered anything, but I do watch The Detectorists a lot, and I am this close to joining a metal detecting club because it's just so up my street, so interesting.
I got a metal detector for my 30th birthday from my friend Friars, and it was much fun, actually.
What a present, Friars. Do you know where it is still?
It's in storage somewhere.
Okay, so it still exists. Okay, let's have a final question for this week's Garden Question Time. Bitch, listen.
Hi, Lily and Miquita. My name's Catherine. I am currently living in Manchester, originally from Liverpool, and I really like the topic of gardening. Me and my partner have basically not been drinking since the beginning of the year, which has meant we've had a lot of time to start a few new hobbies, one of which has been gardening. And we have used these nice sunny days that we've had recently to do some gardening, and we've planted some tomatoes. So I'm hoping that they provide a bountiful harvest in the summer, and we can be making lots of salads with our manny-grown tomatoes. But my question to you is just, what is the best thing you've grown and the thing you've been most satisfied with in sort of the garden, or obviously in any inside houseplants? And yeah, is there anything that you've grown which has not been successful, which tends to be the case with a lot of my things? Love the pod, love listening to you two chat. And yeah, thanks.
Thanks, darling. Go on, tell me about this forced rhubarb and who brought you to that place and what you made with it.
Well, it was already there in the garden, in the vegetable garden that I had in my place in Gloucestershire. And yeah, it's basically like rhubarb that you put the plant pot on top of it, and so it sort of grows in the dark, I think. I'm not really sure.
What does it look like at that point? Are we talking about a seed? What is rhubarb in its original state?
A seed, I think. I don't know.
Right. So you just put it, you put it in soil, plant it in soil, and then put a pot over it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like hot boxing.
I think maybe you'd lift it off for a little bit. I can't really remember. It was about 15 years ago. But the rhubarb that it produces is like, it's got a very specific taste to it.
Good? A good taste?
Yeah. Very good taste.
Delicious. I love the idea of you making your own, growing your own rhubarb and then making rhubarb crumble.
Yeah, well, we did that for a bit. What other stuff did we grow? We grew potatoes. We grew courgettes. Courgettes can get like a bit over the top sometimes and get a bit too big.
Yeah, but I like big vegetables. I feel like it's quite rewarding. A massive big courgette.
Squashes.
Yeah, stuff like that.
I feel like when they get too big, they get a bit tasteless though. Like, I just sort of remember like things going too far. Anyway, it was our fault because we didn't keep it. Yeah, anyway, weren't very good.
Okay, I like the words the lady used. Bountiful harvest, right? So I think that's what we should be working on this new Sky Garden of Dreams at Lily Allen's house in London. I think I'm going to do some really great stuff for you because I know how much you would love the idea of going out, picking stuff and then going into the kitchen to cook it. You made a fantastic trifle at the weekend that you sent me a picture of.
It's still in the fridge, by the way. You should go and eat it.
I know. I saw when I got it. I was like, no way. Can I actually have some?
Yeah, you should definitely dig into that.
Oh my God. This will be my first Lily Allen trifle.
Yeah.
But imagine if you made that with strawberries that you'd grown there or raspberries that you'd grown there. Because you said you use jam and not... Oh no, your mum uses jam.
No, I use jelly. My mum uses jam.
That's it. So you don't have any fruit in your trifle. Oh, so is that just jelly?
Yeah, I do have fruit. Macerated strawberries that I put in the jelly, obviously.
Okay, so if I grow strawberries on your balcony, then you can make me trifle all summer. Dealsy.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to be able to grow strawberries because of the lack of light. But anyway, let's carry on.
I hope we helped today. And if not, do check out Gardener's Question Time. It's much more informative. The end result is we love gardening. I love gardening and get Lily into it more this summer.
Yay!
So, Liliana, what would you like to talk about with the world next week? It's your turn to pick a theme.
Oh, yes. Let me have a look at my little list. Let me have a look.
I did have one idea that maybe I'll text you because it's that time of year. And again, people know so little about it still.
Oh. Tax.
Let's do tax. It's that time of year. Let's all live it together. From a former bankrupt person and one financially wobbly one. I don't mean like now. I just mean like we're not great
Somebody
with money.
has never filled out a self-assessment tax form in their lives. That would be me.
Exactly. From us to you, let's talk about tax. We'll see you next week for Listen Bitch. The theme will be tax. And the phone number to call or send your voice notes to, of course, is 08000 30 40 90, 08000 30 40 90. See you then.
08000 30 40 90.
Would you? All right, bye, Lil. I love you.
Bye.